Just listen for a minute. When you hear this song, what do you think of? And if you said Zelda's Lullaby from The Legend of Zelda, then you're not quite right. The song you're hearing right now is actually titled Concerto for Philodendron and Pothos. I think that's how you say it, I don't know. From Mark Garson's 1976 album, Plantasia. Or to be more specific, the album Mother Earth's Plantasia, warm earth music for plants and the people who love them. The year is 1976, and if by any chance you just so happen to purchase either a plant from a little shop called Mother Earth on Melrose Avenue in LA, or a Simmons brand mattress from Sears, then you'd not only be going home with a plant or mattress, but also a little record by the name of Plantasia. This strange yet interesting marketing strategy created an aura of mystery around the album, but also made it very hard to find, and so the album was left pretty much undiscovered. For almost 4 decades, Plantasia lay dormant, with the man behind it never getting the recognition he deserved. Speaking of which, Mort Garson was born in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada in 1924. Skipping forward a few years, Garson became very much involved in music. Being a pianist and arranger, he could arrange pretty much any music for anyone in pretty much any genre. His work spans from easy listening to the occult-influenced space-age electronic music. So yeah, this dude was a music man. Up until 1967, Garson was very much in the pop scene. However, all that changed when, while attending a music engineers convention, he met a man by the name of Robert Moog. After Moog showed Mort his newest creation, which was an early prototype of the Moog synthesizer, music was changed forever. From then on, Mort Garson began to create pretty much all of his music using the Moog synthesizer. With this machine, Garson could take the songs that he heard in his head and make them a reality. Oh, I just realised I've been pronouncing the word wrong. It's not Moog synthesizer, it's Moog synthesizer, so just sorry about that. The Moog synthesizer was what gave Garson's career a big push, as now he was making jingles for advertisements left and right and becoming quite well known in the business for it.
He said, look, just one note. Now I was getting, I think, $20,000 for this commercial. So I went to the Moog and I pressed one note down. Ding, this is C. So that's it. And that's what they used. It's a funny business.
Garson was everywhere, and no one knew. So much so that he was even commissioned to soundtrack the transmission of the moon landing. That's right, the music man with the mustache scored the frickin' moon landing in 1969. But where am I going with all this? What was the whole thing about an album for plants? Well, my friend, in 1976, Garson used the Moog synthesizer to create what is widely thought of as his magnum opus, releasing Mother Earth's Plantasia, warm earth music for plants and the people who love them. An electronic album consisting of 10 tracks and all made for and taking inspiration from plants. From the sweeping epic title track of Plantasia that introduces you into the strange yet beautiful world that Garson has created, from the chill and careless bopping track of Baby Tears Blues, then you got tracks like You Don't Have to Walk a Begonia, which makes you feel like you're walking through a little plant village. Each track is created around a different type of plant, and each track somehow perfectly depicts its own atmosphere and understanding of nature, without a single word spoken. Garson even ventures into a more sinister and unknowing feeling that nature gives in the final track titled Music to Soothe the Savage Snake Plant, which takes you on a journey back and forth through an unsettling, eerie soundscape to a hypnotic trance as if you're trying to charm a snake, or in this case, a snake plant. The song finally ends with a charming and comforting drift off into the end of the album and 7 notes that beckon back to the opening arpeggio of the opening track. Honestly, if you haven't listened to this album, I highly recommend doing so, and please don't go in single earphone, you're gonna want to hear every note. However, with all that, our story isn't even over yet. Garson didn't only create Plantasia for plants to listen to, but also the people who love them. And that's where our story becomes a love story. Garson's musical genius was not dependent of himself, it was Garson's wife Margaret Garson, who is the second half to what made Plantasia what it is.
My mom was like a muse. Everybody trusted her sense. She was extremely artistic. My brother became a very famous costume designer, and my father was a famous composer. She had these 2 men who totally just trusted everything that she said, and she just had this innate sense about her with style and music of what worked, and she was brutally honest and never offensive. She could be downstairs in the kitchen and my father could have been in the guest house writing music, and she would know when he had written something, and she would go out there and she would say, "More, that's good." And he would know it was good then.
Margaret was the lover of plants and Mort's biggest inspiration in life. She didn't believe in organised religion, she just believed that Earth was the best thing in the world, and whatever created us was incredible. Plantasia is not just an ode to our photosynthesizing friends, but also an ode to Margaret. She is the people that love them that Garson's referencing in the title of the album. Despite Mort Garson's passing in 2008, his legacy still lives on. There's been a recent resurgence in interest in his work due to Plantasia being spread around online, and now being distributed through Sacred Bones Records. I'm sure if Garson was still alive today, he would appreciate the love for his music that at the time garnered no popularity. And I can't tell you how much this album means to me personally. There's been something about it that from the first time I listened to it, I was hooked. It has slowly become my favourite album of all time, and I plan on continuing to listen to it and appreciating Garson's work for the rest of my life. Shout out to the frickin' plants, man, and shout out to Mort Garson. His legacy lives on through music in ways that we can't even see. His music has literally been everywhere, from nature to advertising to the frickin' moon, and even being sampled by a bunch of other artists. While researching this, I nearly fell off my chair when I realised that you can hear a little bit of Garson's song, Planetary Motivations, in DJ Shadow's Building Steam with a Grain of Salt, which is also a really cool song. Somehow, in just 30 minutes of music, Mort Garson managed to create something that had a great effect on me, and something that always manages to cheer me up on days when I'm down. Rest in peace, Mort Garson. You've done more with music than you ever could realise. I really hope through this video I've interested a few people into giving Plantasia a listen, or even just the opening track. And hopefully I've introduced something new into your life. I don't know. And if you've listened to it and you liked it, then some recommendations I have for similar stuff are, of course, well, Mort Garson's other work. The album Music from Patchcord Records is pretty cool. Kind of a collection of tracks that Garson's made in his life. From soundtracks to cheesy B-movies and alternate takes on tracks from Plantasia, there are some gems in there. As well as this, you got albums like Louis Zong's Greenhouse, Naran Ratan, or however you say that, their album Trees ETC, or etc, I don't know, is pretty cool. Even Hiroshi Yoshimura's album titled Green has a pretty similar yet more ambient vibe. And again, I'm sorry if I butchered any of those names. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something new. I know I've not really been posting that much recently, but that's because I've been working on a bunch of other projects. If you want to keep up with me and support me in any way, then please just stick around and watch more videos. Leave a comment because I love reading them. And oh yeah, take a peek at my Twitter because I've been posting a bunch of art and updates and whatnot on there, but no one's even following me on there to see them. So yeah, go say hi to me over there, and if you make stuff too, or have any more recommendation, music, blah blah blah, anything, just freaking send it to me on Twitter at Trugoy. Anyway, I've been me, you've been you. Subscribe if you want, you don't have to. Bada bing, bada boo. Okay. Bye y'all.